What's going on, everybody? This is the first episode of Upstate Talks. Me and Dale are going to be sitting down here, breaking through. We got a ton of topics here. We're going to rip through. We decided to change something up here and really just give you guys something to watch while you're driving, working out, just really something to mix it up from our normal short videos. So we're going to go over NBA playoffs, the PGA Championship. We're going to go over the NFL upcoming season. So a ton of stuff. We're just gonna break it down. We're gonna start uploading these every single Thursday. Obviously, leave comments down below. We'll do a Q&A segment as well. So we're just really excited to start this little podcast journey here. We've been doing really short videos, and now with NBA coming to uh, the championship and no NFL, MLB, so we're just gonna continue to just pump out these, and we hope you enjoy.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be something a little bit more chill. Sit back here and bring up a couple different topics, talk about them. Just come hang out with us. If you're a fan of the Prize Picks videos that we do daily, yeah, come watch the video, the Upstate Talks videos. We're gonna be putting these out. For now, probably. What do you think, Reoz? Maybe one, maybe two a week.
Yeah, we'll probably start with one every single Thursday we'll drop, and depending on if you guys really like it, we'll do more. I mean, we love sitting down talking sports is what we love doing the most, so this is gonna be really fun.
Yeah, I think essentially though the point of it is just like almost in a way just to kind of get to know us a little bit better. I mean, not like our Prize Picks videos essentially have like a script, but it's just kind of like me and Riaz are essentially best friends in person, and we just kind of bullshit with each other as it is. We phone calls, we talk about sports as it is. So why not just roll the camera and just let it fly? So that's how we kind of figured. We plan on bringing some guests on. Kind of switched up. Not really many people in the community, not only just for Prize Picks, but for DFS in general, kind of do stuff like this. I know there's a lot of sports analysts and whatnot who do this type of thing, especially now. All the NBA and NFL players have their own podcasts and whatnot, but maybe we can get some sort of creators in here, which would be cool. There's a lot of people in the player props industry and stuff like that that'd be more than willing to probably come on the show and just come hang out. That's essentially what we want it to be.
Yeah, without a doubt. So let's jump right into the first segment here, the NBA playoffs. Uh, who do you want to see in the finals? What do you think about these matchups? We got Dallas and the Warriors going right now. We saw Miami come back at when they were getting beat pretty bad by Boston early on in that game. I know me and you were talking, and I absolutely counted out Boston so fast. I said if I were to bet this game, I probably would have had Miami, and they just look brutal.
Well, I mean, it's weird. Essentially in the beginning of the season, if you were to ask me, a lot of people were like talking about like Lakers and Nets in the beginning of the season. Things start to unfold. The turnaround Boston had in the beginning of the season, I should say by the trade deadline, almost addition by subtraction. I mean, getting rid of Schroeder, kind of bringing in Derek White and stuff like that too was nice for them. I mean, I was having a conversation about it too. Well, we were talking about it last night. It's just all four of these teams are kind of defensive oriented. I guess Golden State's probably the least defensive oriented, but with even the teams that were remaining, um, before. I mean, with the Grizzlies, very great defensive team. The Suns, won 64 games, very good defensive team. 76ers, I guess, I wouldn't put them in that category, a very good team at home. But then Milwaukee, not as good as defensively. They gave up a ton of threes throughout the course of the season. However, though, I mean, these four teams that are remaining, a lot of defense, especially over on the east side of things. Heat Celtics should get a lot of like 90s ish scores in those games, but I like the Celtics in that series to go to the finals, and preferably the Warriors to beat the Mavericks to go to the finals. Luka's been sensational, but I don't know. I'm just a big Warriors guy. I know there's a lot of hate on the Warriors, but I'm a big Steph guy. I love Clay, and I don't know, man. I just like the Warriors. I like what they got going. I'd like to see Steph get another.
I mean, I could definitely see that. I mean, this has probably been one of the better playoffs throughout the season so far, and it's really nice to see that there's different teams. I mean, Miami was there a couple years ago. Obviously, Golden State was there a bunch of times in the last 5 years, but I really want to see Dallas. I'd love to see Luka kind of get a chance to really get his feet wet in this league and play for a championship. It's almost like Joe Burrow last or the previous NFL season playing in the Super Bowl. Uh, that would just be really great to see. And I'm right there with you with Boston. I mean, Boston, even though they blew that lead, they got Al Horford that's doubtful for game two. Marcus Smart's coming back, which is always great on the defensive end, but you can't be remiss. I mean, Robert Williams went out there and played one hell of a game. I mean, he had 17 points. He was crashing the boards. He was doing phenomenal on defense. I mean, it was just great to see him back, full health. I know he was dealing with a ton of injuries late in the season, so I just want to see two new teams that we know Boston just early on in the 90s. I mean, in the 200s, crazy. So I'd like to see them back, and obviously with not a real superstar team in Dallas. I mean, they have Luca, they have Spencer Dinwiddie, who's been playing very well, and then Finney Smith is what he is. Reggie Bullock. It's just really tough, but this is going to be a really good two series that I'm really excited to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I had to put a rating on the playoffs so far, I'd probably say, I mean, is it a stretch for me to say it's 10 out of 10 in the course of the playoffs so far? I mean, realistically, I mean, even to start with the play-in games, just super super exciting with the play-in games. I mean, that Spurs game. I know you're a Spurs guy, but the Spurs game wasn't really all that. However, the Pelicans game was great. The Timberwolves, they played really well. They over on the east side of things, I mean, that was pretty good with Atlanta and Charlotte. I mean, the game wasn't super exciting, but it's nice to see them on the ball in a playing situation. So it was good stuff, man. Throughout the playing and now, I mean, with these conference finals, I really couldn't ask for more. Just a lot of star power all around, and the league's in really good hands.
Yeah, it is for sure, and that leads us right in to the next thing. Top five players in the NBA right now. You don't have to have any order. You can just say five guys. Uh, this might be tough. You guys leave your five. If we miss somebody that you just couldn't believe, write that down in the comments. I'm really excited to see who everyone thinks is the top five in the NBA right now.
Yeah, I mean, she's top five. I actually thought about this a couple days ago, because I had a conversation with a friend after the Celtics beat Milwaukee. I was still pleading the case that Giannis was the best in the world, best in the league. He disagreed. For some odd reason, I think it's pretty clear cut that Giannis is the best in
Without
the
a
world
doubt.
right now. I'd probably say Giannis, number one. But in the rest of the order, uh, I'd probably still put KD, LeBron, Steph, and Kawhi, and that'd probably be my top. And people would argue why not Jokic or Embiid. I mean, I don't know. I just Kawhi's impact on the game when he was in was absolutely sensational, and I probably would rather just put Kawhi in rather than take the heat between who I pick between Jokic and Embiid. Um, but if you want to put it into like 7, 8, 9, 10, Jokic and Embiid, Tatum's in that top 10 conversation, stuff like that. But those are my top five.
Wow, as a Spurs guy, I with Kawhi not even playing a single second on the court today, I totally forgot about him. He's not in my top five just because I don't know how he's going to come back after missing a whole entire year, and I believe he missed some of last season. But no order here. Obviously Giannis, obviously Luca, KD for sure. Even though that Brooklyn team really let down a ton of people, I know I had a future on Brooklyn to win it all. I thought once they acquired Ben Simmons, they got rid of Harden. I thought once they lifted that mandate on Kyrie, I thought that Brooklyn team was going to just be amazing. I don't like to put this, but I got to put LeBron and I got to put Curry. I mean, those are definitely the five that absolutely stand out in this league right now.
Yeah, I mean Luca for sure. I just look at Kawhi. I mean it's. I mean, if you want to put Luca in there, of course. But I look at Kawhi as like he's coming back next year, and like the Clippers are instantly title contenders. And
Yeah,
like,
him and Paul George are two
yeah,
ridiculous combos right
yeah.
there.
So I just look at Kawhi, and the run that he had in the East was absolutely sensational. And yeah, it just what he did in both ends of the floors. I mean, you're talking about complete two-way players. When he was going on that run, people were talking about him being like the best in the league when he was in Toronto. So, and you can make the argument if he never gets hurt. Um, in the 2021 playoffs, they take down Phoenix and they end up making the finals. So,
Yeah,
because he was
without a
probably
doubt.
he was probably the best player in the world at that time. Especially, I mean, at least in the Western Conference, he was probably the best player. I mean, he was absolutely ballistic in the 2021 playoffs. Um,
I'll tell you right now, we're for sure getting heat. Not putting Joker back to back MVPs in our top five. That's a fact. I'm waiting to see the comments. Drop this really ramping up on the old Joker, but we'll
yeah,
switch gears here. We're gonna head over to the PGA Championship that starts tomorrow. I'm super pumped for it. Biggest field in the PGA Tour. I believe it's 150 players. Usually it's right around 70. I mean, this is gonna be just a crazy tournament. I mean, there's a ton of guys playing really well. Jordan Spieth is playing probably the best golf he's played in a while. After well, when he had that major run where he was just going like crazy. Obviously, Scotty Scheffler playing number one in the world, absolutely phenomenal. Patrick Cantlay, Dustin Johnson, obviously Brooks Koepka, even though he withdrew last week and dealing with a lot of injuries. But to talk about injuries, I mean, the list could go on with all the people that from this tournament. We saw Bryson withdrew. Um, no, obviously no. Phil Mickelson, Sun John Im withdrew. I mean, the list goes on. There's a ton of people in this field, and this is going to be a really good tournament. I love that it's big like this. Definitely for DraftKings lineups, you really want to go 5 for 6, 6 for 6, especially when you got a ton of guys that aren't going to make the cut. I mean, the one thing that makes this field so big is if you're a PGA, if you're a former PGA Championship winner, you get automatic exemption in this field. So there's going to be a ton of guys shooting really bad rounds, but they're just happy to be there. They're old. They're not really playing much golf at this point, but uh, we'll be quick on this. We got another topic that I know me and Dale are really excited to talk about, but we just want to give you three guys here that we think are going to win this week at the PGA Championship.
yeah. I mean, I don't really have many high odd guys. I mean, the guys that come in at the top, Rahm, Scheffler, McIlroy, I think look really good. I mean, like you said, Scheffler's obviously been playing wicked good, playing with a lot of confidence as well. I mean, if you go down the list, I mean, like someone like DJ at plus 3,100 is actually really good odds in my opinion. Like a Koepka at 4,800 odds too looks really good in my opinion as well. So, I don't really have a clear cut favorite when it comes to the PGA stuff. I mean, I tend to lean towards some DraftKings content as well. I think that's a really good spot for me. When it comes to like FanDuel Sportsbook stuff, for me for the PGA, it's tough. You know what I'm saying? I guess the matchups are probably the best way to play it, or maybe like a top 10 finish will be the best way to kind of earn some cash on it. But you can take a stab at someone for sure, with some low odds, like a Sam Burns or something like that.
Yeah, without a doubt. Or you could definitely look at made cuts and everything that's always a great place to look to make some money here. But my three guys definitely love Patrick Cantlay here tonight here this week. I mean, he's so a major championship. It's crazy. He's been so close so many times. Got to go back to the past when here. Justin Thomas. I mean, he's just playing the best golf. I mean, he's the best up and down player. Best round the greens guy. Hits the ball so well off the tee. His iron game is phenomenal. His putter goes a little haywire at time, but he really locks that in. He's going to be very dangerous this week. And obviously, the last guy, Jordan Spieth. I mean, I talked about him before. He's just playing phenomenal golf. I mean, he made a big run last RGB Heritage. It's just been crazy how well he's been. He's been getting a lot better around the. He's really hitting the ball the furthest he's had in his whole career and straight too. He's been really finding his swing. We know during the Masters and weeks leading up to that, he had a lot of problems. It was all in his head. He just couldn't find his swing whatsoever. You saw every time he would take that practice swing, he was always making sure where his club was, what his swing was doing. So I really like Jordan Spieth here today. I mean, it might be super chalky for DFS, but I would eat that chalk.
Yeah, no, that's a great pick in my opinion as well. Um, Yeah, but I mean, like I said, taking a stab at some of the lower guys with really high odds, I should say really low odds, is definitely a decent way to approach it as well. Um, Maybe over on the Patreon, Reoz drop a little bit of DraftKings stuff for the PGA.
Yeah, for sure. You could check that out at patreon.com/upstate. That will all be linked in the description below. Definitely a guy to take a look at. Maybe throw 5-10 bucks on it. Webb Simpson, I believe he's 30,300 to 1. I mean, you can never go wrong with Webb Simpson. I mean, he's just a phenomenal golfer. He's been playing in this league forever, playing on this tour forever. So definitely someone you could take a stab at. But the last topic we want to talk about is the upcoming NFL season. I mean, we could talk futures, we could talk about teams, we could talk about really anything here. I know me and Dal are pumped for this season. There was so much action going on in this off season. The draft, I don't know. I'm not a big draft guy. I don't know if you are, Dal, but the draft just doesn't do it for me.
No, I absolutely love the draft. Huge draft junkie, NFL junkie. No, I love the draft, and being a Steelers fan, uh, exciting draft for to be a Steelers fan. Excited to see what that locker room looks like, and how that backfield's gonna look come week one. We just got the schedule released too. Our schedule looks a little tough, but I like some of the games opening up, with Buffalo and the Rams. I believe that's game number one on Thursday in LA. That's gonna be such a good game. Just so many teams down the board, just look so good. I actually really like the draft. I think there's a couple guys, or a couple teams, I should say, that had better drafts than others. I think like the Jets had a really good draft, in my opinion. The Ravens had a really good draft too, just taking guys in the typical Ravens draft. But I'm excited to see what a lot of these teams do. But I really like the NFL draft compared to other drafts, essentially just because it means a little bit more. I mean, an NBA guy, sometimes you can take a project, or I mean, once you get out of the lottery in the NBA, I mean, really kind of take a shot in the dark. I mean, these are rotational guys. Unless you hit a home run on a guy, essentially like a Jokic, a Draymond, a Giannis. There's probably more, but these are just superstars I'm thinking of. Jordan Poole. But these guys from round 1 to 4, I mean, they make impacts on your team right away. Locker room, some of these linemen are getting starts right away. And injuries, people go down and they need to step up. So that's why I love the NFL draft. It's a good, solid watch, and it's a nice way to just get your NFL fix during the off season.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I mean, as a Denver fan, I believe it's week one. We play Seattle. I believe it's in Seattle and Thursday night. So that's a game at four. But if you were to pick two teams that you think is maybe make the playoffs that didn't make the playoffs last year, who do you think those two teams will be?
Well, there's always new teams. If you look back into the last 5 years of the league, you have your typical division winners, but there's different people who make the playoffs every year. It's just the way it happens in the NFL. I love the parity in the NFL. Um, the first team that comes to my mind, I don't know why, is Miami. Is them making the playoffs? I feel like they can make the playoffs. But that AFC is loaded, so it is going to be tough, and that division is going to be tough too. I guess like we looked in the NFC side of things. New Orleans had some really good moves. We'll see how they do with their new coach, but I think New Orleans looks really good. They should be back competing again. Jameis will probably just do Jameis things, but a lot of weapons on that team. Bringing in Jarvis, Honey Badger, stuff like that. So they should be exciting. Saints are a team definitely that can squeeze in. Other than that, man, um, it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough. I see what maybe like a Chicago. Maybe Justin Fields has a really solid year, and they squeeze in. I mean, they had really solid years with Mitchell Trubisky, and maybe they can squeeze in. Being like a 9-8 team. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I mean it's nice that they added another team. I really love that Miami. Um, the adding Tyreek was huge. Just the weaponry for um, Tula. I mean that's just phenomenal. And I gotta go with my Broncos here. Ton of huge pickups. Getting Russell, getting just a ton of guys on defense. I mean he's just been this is the team that we've been waiting for. It kind of feels, but we're getting a little more. out of Russell here. He wants to build a super team. Um, didn't want to bring up the Jerry Judy news, so we're not going to talk about that. But hopefully, he's able to play this season. I mean, we know how strict they are with domestic violence and everything like that. Just have to see. I know there was a couple statements going out saying it's going to be cleared up, but the big year for Jerry Judy. Nonetheless, you finally have a quarterback that how to throw with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. Now he goes to the Denver team. Cortland Sutton, Patrick, Jerry Judy. I mean, no, we drafted a couple tight ends. We got a couple tight ends that we drafted from a couple years ago. Missouri, who's I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his last. Denver's looking on the up and up here. Tough division, but I think the Chiefs are gonna struggle this year. If I were to have one hot take, they lost Tyree. They lost a lot of weapons. So a year where Denver can really. Miami is definitely the team to look out for this year.
Yeah, I like their moves. We'll see what Tua's made of really in the course of this year. We definitely could see some changes, some big time changes if he's not all that. I guess if we can look to kind of wrap this up, I want to just kind of look at the top teams here for Super Bowl odds. The top five: Buffalo comes in at plus 650, Tampa Bay comes in at plus 750, Chiefs at plus 950, the Rams at 1100, and actually the Packers at plus 1200. And which surprises me the most is that number six is actually the Chargers at plus 1600 for Super Bowl winner. So those are your top six. Um, to me, Buffalo screams like they're going to be a contender this year. I mean, not a contender, but I really do think they're going to make the Super Bowl this year. That's my pick, really. Honestly, I was shitting on Buffalo last year just because that's just who I am. I just go against the grain. However, Buffalo, yeah, they're my pick to go.
I really like Buffalo. They probably should have won that game against the. They probably would have made a run for sure. Definitely like the value for the Chargers. They had really big moves here on this offseason. Their defense looks phenomenal in an overpowered offense. So I really like the value there. Definitely staying away from the Packers. I know Aaron Rodgers is phenomenal, but they just continue to not gain any weapons. I mean, it's really tough when you lose Devontae Adams and now you're number one Sammy. That's just absolutely brutal. So stay away from the Packers. You're definitely going to find a lot of value in the Chargers here this upcoming season.
But I hate to say it, but call me crazy too. Plus 4,000 for Vegas, I think is actually not that bad.
No, I mean I don't mind it. I mean it's tough. That division's going to be brutal. But you can also look at the Cardinals here. I would love to know their odds. I mean, this is
2,700.
a 700 with I believe that's where the Super Bowl is this year. Could we see three straight home teams win the Super Bowl?
Could happen. Yeah, Arizona, maybe an NFC team wins again. Even at plus 11 to 1 odds for the Rams to repeat, it's honestly not that bad.
No, it's not. I mean, just the way it's been trending, we saw Tampa Bay win, we saw the Rams win, and I mean the Cardinals looked like the best team in the NFL last season until Kyler Murray started to get hurt. DeAndre Hopkins just was done, and that's definitely a team to beat.
Yeah, man. So anything else? Anything else you want to get to? And other than that.
No, let's wrap this up. I'd like to do a Q&A segment, so obviously leave all your questions down. I mean, this is we want to continue to do this. We'll always have a ton of topics to talk about. The sports news is incredible. Every single day there's something. So really excited to keep hammering these out. Every single Thursday we'll be dropping, and I hope you guys enjoy, like, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate the support. I mean, me and Dell were 2 years ago not really knowing what to do with this channel, and you guys gave us all the support, so we couldn't be more grateful.
Yeah. Maybe looking into doing these, in person, with each other, under a camera. Like I said, bringing in guests. Q&As are always awesome to do. So any more interaction we can get with you guys. Links to all our stuff is going to be down below. Patreon stuff's down there. $20 a month for all me and Reoz's picks. Got some interesting things coming up on the Patreon as well. as we get into the off season for the NBA, as well as starting to ramp up things on the NFL side of things. Um, Definitely really good value over there for $20 a month, especially if you want to support us any further. And then other than that, our free Discord's linked down in the description below. Go check that one out. And then yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next video.